sign in. See our man Doug over there. Please sign in this time. We were missing a bunch of people last month, and I'd like to get a good head count. It didn't quite match up. And I couldn't remember all who were here, who were not. 22nd, we got the Ohio QSO party. Huh? Josh, help me out here. Huh? What?
It's a Saturday.
Yes. Okay.
Noon till whenever.
Noon till whenever.
You can't stay all night.
No, noon till 9. The weather's looking kind of iffy right now. That's what we were talking about, is the weather looking pretty iffy.
That's it. Yeah, bug spray too.
Yeah, bug spray, iffiness. Ohio QSO party. Check it out on our webpage, w8wky.org. September 13th coming up. We've got the picnic. It's a potluck, so bring something interesting. I saw some of the clubs have been splitting it up and saying if you're this abbreviation or that last name, you should bring these things or that things. I prefer it to be just completely lucky. And if we have 12 different kinds of baked beans, so be it. But we've gotten pretty good mixes in the past. So keep that on your schedule for September 13th. It's a good time. We always have fun. September 17th will be our next meeting, and that'll be Backyard Tower. But where's Jeff? There he is. So we'll be seeing Jeff next month for presentation. Tonight we have Ohio Aries presentation from Matt Nicholson. Where are you, Matt? There he is. October 3rd, K3LR DX Engineering Tour. There's still seats available. I thought that would fill up faster, but it's a good time. I went 2 years ago. If you haven't been there, it's fun and worth the trip. October 10th, we've got a fox hunt coming up. Jason, ready for a fox hunt?
No, but we will be.
Okay. See, there's an answer.
This is still August. Okay?
I know.
Just
I know.
calm down.
You know, I know we got time, but
Calm down.
I like to have this all filled up and, you know, all this stuff to talk about. We've got Aries presentation tonight, as I said, with Matt, and that'll be up right after me here, so don't run away. Do we have any new members or visitors tonight? I think I saw a new face or two. There we go. We got lots of them. Not you, Lily. I know you.
Way over there.
Let's grab.
Way over there.
Way over where?
Right there.
We met earlier. Say hi to everybody. What's your call sign?
Hi, my name is Doug Justin, N2ZK.
And you just moved to the area, right?
We are currently moving to the area from Jamestown, New York.
Nice.
Cool. Fine business. All right. Going this way, who's next? Here we go.
Yeah.
I remember this gentleman.
Go to the
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm K0GR. Name's Jerry. Been a ham operator since 1964.
All right. Okay. That is before I was born. There we go. They got one more new one here. Thank you, sir.
I'm Brian Chevron, K8NNC, new member from Pittsburgh.
Hey, good evening, I'm Paul Bell. I am also from Twinsburg, but I'm a guest tonight. I'm KD8BXY.
Well, good having you, sir. Thanks for coming out and joining us tonight. We got one more back here.
I'm Debbie Bussinger, KFA-DTZ. I have my license for a year and I don't know what I'm doing yet.
Well, you're in good company. Some of us have been doing this for a decade and don't know what we're doing. That would be me. Well, welcome everybody. It's great to have some new faces here tonight. I am 88SLG, just Nick. So welcome to the show. Thanks for coming out tonight. We're gonna, I think, just jump right into our Ohio Aries presentation tonight with Matt Nicholson. KT8NZJ. You're up, buddy. Come on up. You want this or not?
I guess so. Looks like everybody's used to hearing the microphone to the right.
Yep.
All right, well, good evening. My name's Matt Nickerson. The presentation isn't actually gonna just be Aries. I was here a year ago when Brett was here and talked about Aries, and it was like really long, and not everybody was happy about it, so I'm gonna try to keep this as short as possible. But I do want to introduce myself because I am the new Ohio Section Emergency Coordinator for Aries. So all of the county ECs and everything funnels up to me, and then I report to Brett, who's now the section manager. So if anybody does have any questions about Aries on the state level or the county or district level, if you're not getting answers from your local people or whatever and you need somebody to talk to, feel free to reach out to me. Email's the best way to get a hold of me, but I'm gonna talk basically about three things tonight. I'm gonna talk about an organization that I started, which is very similar to Aries. It does Aries type things, and it is also the Cuyahoga County Aries group, so it fits in. I'm gonna talk real briefly about Skywarn. I am in charge of staffing the weather service up in Cleveland for Skywarn, so I'm gonna tell you just a little bit about what we do there, how we do it, why we do it, answer any questions that anybody might have, and then I'll talk a little bit about Aries, and then I'll let you guys get on with the rest of your night so you don't have to hear me yap all night. So again, I am the founder and president of an organization called Event Support Group. I am currently the section emergency coordinator, and I'm also technically the District 10 emergency coordinator. I'm also a EC or assistant EC for Cuyahoga County, and I was previously the EC, assistant SEC. So I've basically held every Aries role that you could possibly hold from section on down. I got licensed in 2000. I've been a ham for 26 years. Since I'm going to talk about Aries type stuff, one of my passions in amateur radio is public service events, marathons, runs, bike rides, things like that. And not everybody might be into that, and that's okay. I'm not one of those people that thinks you've got to do public service because, you know, a lot of people will argue, well, it says in Part 97 that you have to support the community and whatever. Well, there's a lot of different ways that you can support your community by being a ham, and it doesn't mean having to come out and work at a bike ride or work at a marathon or anything like that. So, but that's my passion. The nice thing about amateur radio is there's hundreds of things that you can do with it. So if it's something that you're not interested in, then you don't have to get involved in it. But that's the great thing about ham radio is there's a lot of stuff to do. So we'll start with Event Support Group, my charity that I started. It's a nonprofit. We started it in 2019. It is a 501c3. We work about 20 public service events a year, roughly, up in the Cleveland area. I'm from Shaker Heights, which is a suburb just east of Cleveland. So it took me about 45 minutes to get down here tonight. That's pretty much where all of our events happen. They happen basically in Cuyahoga County. We have one event that goes all the way from Cleveland to Cincinnati. And then we do an event out on Catawba. And then we also have helped an event out in Ottawa before, but we don't really do that anymore. The reason that we created our organization was because of this ambulance picture. There's a ambulance company in Mansfield, Ohio called LST, Life Support Team. They used to provide medical service for our Pan Ohio Hope Ride, which is an American Cancer Society fundraiser that is a bicycle ride 4 days from Cleveland to Cincinnati. And we usually raise in the neighborhood of about $1 million for American Cancer Society. 300 some cyclists, we escort them the whole way down. I got talking to the owner of that company and I said, hey, we'd really love to have like a mobile command post. Do you think you'd be able to donate an ambulance to us? Honestly, half joking, I didn't really think he'd say so. He looked at the guy that was standing next to him and said, yeah, we could give him Med 8, right? And the guy said, yeah. And he goes, all right, talk to me when this is over. We'll get you something. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's going to happen. So one of the questions he asked me was, you're a 501c3, right? I said, no, do I need to be? And he goes, that'd make it easier. I said, you got it. So I went home and within about 48 hours, I learned everything I could about starting a charity and starting a corporation. And needless to say, that was at the end of July, and I think by September, we took possession of the ambulance and started gutting it and spent all winter building it out into a command post. It had 2 operating positions: UHF radios, VHF radios, HF radios, March radios, anything you could think of. And then we realized that, as beautiful as it looks, if you know anything about vehicles, that's 1995. So it's pretty old. So we decided, being a nonprofit, that we should be good stewards of our donations and we should invest in something that was gonna be a little bit less maintenance. This is what the inside of it looked like. For any of you who've ever been in an ambulance, you've got the area where the stretcher goes, you've got the area where the medic sits, and then on the other side, you've got a bench, seat. We ripped that out and made it into a desk, 2 operating positions, and we had a lot of fun with it. We sold it this last year, about a year ago, to a group down in Marion, and they're using it for ham radio stuff as well. He said he was gonna drive it out to Port Clinton and drive it to the islands. So we upgraded, downgraded, however you wanna look at it, to a trailer, a 16-foot enclosed trailer. One of our members, Chuck, who is the current emergency coordinator, was nice enough to purchase it, donate it to us, and he's done probably 90% or more of the construction of it. And again, it has 2 operating positions, everything from DC to daylight, as they say. We can pretty much operate on any band, any frequency that we have privileges to. We have access to commercial radios. The Cuyahoga County was nice enough to give us a Marks radio, so we've pretty much got everything we need, and that's what we run our events out of now. So don't have to pay as much for insurance because you're not driving it. You don't have to pay as much for maintenance. There's no motor to maintain. Lots less moving parts. Although since the ambulance was so old, we had historical plates on it, so now we got to pay for a license plate every year. That's all right. So, event support group, we have a lot of different partners in the community. So, the first partner that I really should have put there is Aries. So, event support group is its own organization, but all of the members, it's not really a club, but everybody that's involved in it is also involved in Aries. When we have the meeting, it's basically a joint ESG/Aries meeting. So we pretty much consider the 2 groups to be one and the same. So although we don't really call it Aries, we are the Aries group as well. So that would be the first partnership that we have. But through the partnership with Aries, we've developed partnerships with a lot of public safety agencies. So very early on, is anybody from Cuyahoga County? Everybody's pretty much down here. Huh? Used to be. Used to be? Oh, well, you know Nick anyway, so. Met you down in Columbus. So there's a regional dispatch center up in Cuyahoga County called Chagrin Valley Dispatch. So in counties like Cuyahoga County, you have things called PSAPs, which are public service answering points. And the easiest way to explain that is who answers the phone when you call 911. That is a PSAP. In Cuyahoga County, since we have so many little cities and villages, and I don't think we have maybe one township, every single community was a public service answering point. And the federal government said, basically, this is too much, you need to consolidate this, or we're gonna start taking away funding. So there was a big push, probably about 20 years ago or so, to start consolidating into regional dispatches. Areas like here, probably, Medina County, for instance, you got Medina County Sheriff pretty much dispatches for every fire department in the county. So it's already regional. That's your public service answering point. So what Cuyahoga County did is they started developing some regional dispatch centers. And one of the ones that popped up was called Chagrin Valley Dispatch. It started in Chagrin Falls. Chagrin Valley is along the Chagrin River east of Cleveland. And started with just a few agencies, and it ended up blossoming, and now I think there's 53 different agencies, 30-some municipalities that are part of it. And they own this vehicle on the left here. It's about $900,000. They got a grant to build it. It is a mobile dispatch center. I'll show some pictures of the inside. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got 6 positions, and every position is a fully equipped dispatch. And that vehicle can actually take over any of the 5 dispatch centers that Chagrin Valley runs. And they can, if one of those dispatch centers was to fail, they can start routing phone calls, they can control all the radios, everything out of that vehicle. So Chagrin Valley Dispatch is run by a person called Nick DeSico. I met him at the NFL draft when he was using this vehicle. And we got to know each other, and I kind of jokingly said, oh, I looked at all the Motorola radios. I said, these are quad band radios, but you don't have any ham radio frequencies in here. You gotta put some ham radio stuff in here. Again, kind of joking. Next thing I know, he's handing me a thumb drive with the programming software and saying, do you know how to program these radios? I said, yeah, definitely. He goes, all right, put whatever you want in it, put it in that one, and then we'll make sure that it's in all of them. So I quickly threw as many ham radio frequencies as I could in it before he changed his mind. And the vehicle ended up with an entire zone of UHF and VHF ham radio frequencies. Had him come out to an Aries meeting, said, so would you ever let us use this for a ham radio event? He goes, yeah, sure. So now we run 2 to 3 events a year out of this vehicle. One of them is MS-150 Bike Ride, which is a fundraiser for multiple sclerosis. And then this year we used it for Pan, Ohio. They were actually nice enough to provide us a driver and drive all the way to Cincinnati for 4 days and let us operate out of it every single day. So I would say Chagrin Valley Dispatch is a very good relationship that we have, and it's so good that they even hired me to work there as a radio tech last year. So we also have a very good relationship with the city of Cleveland through Aries, Cuyahoga County. The vehicle in the middle is a command vehicle that was purchased by the Cuyahoga County Fire Chiefs Association. We have gotten permission to operate out of that vehicle as well, so we operate our net control for the Cleveland Marathon out of that vehicle. And then at one time we did have a guy that worked at Middleburg Heights Fire. He was able to bring a vehicle out. So we have lots of little things and little toys to play with. University hospitals, we work with them at a lot of different events as well. So this is a picture of that CBD truck. This is this past year when we were running the MS-150. The far picture on the right is when we were running Pan, Ohio. So we do a lot of bike events. Pan, Ohio Hope Ride, MS-150. We're going to do one this weekend called Bike Cleveland Fundo. Tour de Cure was a American Diabetes Association event that we used to run. They don't do the ride around here anymore. Ride to Remember is an Alzheimer's ride. Coast of the Oast, and this is just a handful of the ones that I could pick up. Coast of the Oast is the bike ride out on Catawba, so if anybody's got property or cottages or anything out there. We also do a bunch of running and walking events. So logistically, the biggest event that we do, the 2 biggest I would say, would be Pan, Ohio, just because it's 4 days, it's so far, and the Cleveland Marathon. And the Cleveland Marathon is the biggest event that we do as far as assignments. I know if any of you guys have ever worked the Akron Marathon, I'm sure that that's probably very similar. But we're talking like 40 hams that we really need to scatter around the course to make that work. And we've done the Cleveland Marathon for longer than I've been a ham. And it really got taken up a notch after the Boston bombing, because we now, it used to be we were just working for the marathon staff, the owners, if you will, helping. Our main job was to be out at the water stops and things like that. Well, after Boston, they started activating the Cleveland EOC. They actually brought us into the EOC. We started operating out of the EOC. And so we pretty much are the interface between the Cleveland Marathon and all of the agencies that are in the EOC. And Cleveland EOC runs like a command post. So, they have FBI and sheriff's office and police department, and every letter agency you can think of is there. And it's funny because they have representatives from EMS, representatives from police. Anytime something happens out on the court, the ham radio operator will get the information from us out in the field, walk into the EOC floor, give it to law enforcement or EMS or whatever. And right around the time that they're finishing writing down all the information that they tell them and saying thank you, somebody calls them on the radio and gives them all the same information over. So the public safety agencies are actually getting more information from the hams faster than they're getting from their own public safety people. So it's a very good relationship. A couple other marathons, hike and runs, triathlons. We just did a triathlon last weekend. ACS, American Cancer Society Strides Walk. Again, we work with university hospitals very heavily. We help them dispatch their medical assets. So I said that we work out of that middle vehicle for the Cleveland Marathon. The seats are basically us and then university hospitals, and we're passing information back and forth across the vehicle so that they can dispatch their medical assets. And then we also do a lot of events at the request of our served agencies. So they activated us for the eclipse. We were downtown watching the eclipse. We work at we have two, we have multiple airports in Cuyahoga County, but the three, I guess, is Cuyahoga County Airport, but that one's kind of small. We don't really do anything there. The two big ones, though, are Hopkins, which is the international airport, and then Burke Lakefront, which is down on the lakefront. Both of those do annual drills, and they alternate. So one year Cleveland Hopkins will do it, the next year Burke will do it, then they'll do a tabletop, and then they'll start over. For most of the years, not all of them, they usually have us come out and help with patient tracking. Same thing with NDMS drills. If you're familiar with NDMS, it stands for National Disaster Medical System. It's basically like the VA hospital and stuff like that. So we come out, we work with them on all those. The Cleveland Marathon, again, like I said, ever since Boston, we partner with the EOC. We've even got called out to a couple of trunk retreats. The middle picture is from the city of Pepper Pike. Their CERT asked us to come out. So just some examples of the different kinds of things that we do. This actually came from another presentation, but you know, the main things that we're doing at these events is we're staffing spots around the course, providing visibility. We're interfacing with the people that are running the events. We're in the EOC, interfacing with law enforcement agencies and things like that. For the bike rides, the biggest thing that we do is SAG vehicles, which stands for supported gear. So for Pan Ohio, we usually have about 15 different vehicles that drive the entire way, and we dispatch them over radio. We track them with APRS, and anybody that needs help, they dial a number that rings into our vehicle, and we figure out where they are, and then we send people out to go get them. So those are the types of services that we're providing to these events. We're not necessarily just standing around. Eric, if anybody knows Eric Jessen at ADC, he always coins the term spandex watchers, but we do a lot more than just sit around and watch the spandex. So that's my very quick overview of what we do for public service events. Any questions about any of that? I'll get to questions at the end too. That in a nutshell though is my passion. It's kind of funny, the reason that I got into amateur radio was because of Skywarn, but there's so much technology these days, it's so easy to get information to the National Weather Service that Skywarn has kind of fallen to the wayside. When I got licensed in 2000, I didn't have a cell phone. Some people did, but I sure didn't. About the best I could do was a pager, and I would get warnings sent to my pager. So if I wanted to go out, or if I happened to be out when the storms hit, if I was gonna have to call the weather service on the phone, it was literally, you know, have a quarter in your pocket, go find a payphone and call somebody. So amateur radio 25 years ago was much bigger for Skywarn than it is now. And that was my passion at the time. But currently I am in charge of staffing the Weather Service in Cleveland. We do have an amateur radio station in the National Weather Service. I'll show some pictures of it here. We have 2 meters, 440 DMR, 6 meters. And we do have HF capability. We don't have it hooked up regularly, but we do have an HF radio there, and we could deploy equipment if for some reason the Weather Service needed to talk to another office or the EMA in Columbus or something like that. But the biggest question that I get pretty much everywhere I go, and this is pertinent to you guys too, because the Cleveland Weather Service does cover this area. I think I have a map later on here. Yes, this is a map of the county warning area. Everything in yellow is served by the National Weather Service in Cleveland. One of the biggest questions I get is, hey, we had warnings and I needed to call something into the Weather Service. Why was nobody there? Well, the reason that nobody's there is one of the terms that we like to coin for both Skywarn and Aries is that we don't self-deploy. So just because there's storms, we don't just go, oh, hey, I'm going to the Weather Service, we're gonna work the Weather Service. The only time we go to the Weather Service is when they call us and they ask us to come. Now, there will be times where we'll be watching things and we are pretty much all weather nerds in my group, so we know when things are gonna hit the fan. And there will be times where we'll coordinate amongst ourselves and, all right, we've got people available, let's call them, and I'll call the forecasters and say, hey, do you want somebody to come in? And about half the time they'll say yes, but for the most part, unless they call us, we don't go there. So just because there's storms doesn't necessarily mean that they called us. The flip side to that is we are all volunteers, and not all of us are retired. I work full-time, a bunch of my guys work full-time. Something happens at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the number of operators that we're gonna have available is significantly less. So much like anything else, life has to come first. None of us get paid to go to the weather service, so we gotta go to work and pay the bills. But the biggest reason that we wouldn't be at the weather service is simply that they didn't ask us. And if they don't ask us, you know, we can't just show up there. So, picture in the upper left there is the operations floor where the forecasters work. Bottom left is the roof of the office in Cleveland with, pretty much all those antennas are ours except for the dishes. And then the right is the operating position that we have. So we've got a VHF, UHF dual band radio, a DMR radio, UHF and 6-meter radios for the 6-meter backbone, which has been down all year. And then we also have the March radio there. So the ways to get reports to the weather service, if we're there, would be the first thing you do if you're a Skywarn spotter is you figure out, does your county have a Skywarn net operating? And in Medina County, I believe that it's a pretty active group. So most of the time they would have a Skywarn net operating. So the first thing that you would want to do as a spotter is report there. And the reason for that is just because there's a lot of other people listening and it helps them hear what's going on around them. In the event that you were in Medina County and there was no Skywarn net, or you were in some other county and there was no Skywarn net, but you had access to either 6 meters if it happened to be working, or DMR, we have a DMR talker at 313-932. If your county that you're in does not have a Skywarn net operating, you're welcome to call the weather service directly and just explain to them, hey, I'm in such and such county, there's no Skywarn net available, I have a report. And we're gonna take it, we're not gonna argue with you. If you are a public safety professional, or you have a really good partnership with your, some agency and they gave you a March radio, every single March radio in the state of Ohio should have a talk group called NWSCLE, I believe is what it's called. So if you have access to a March radio, figure out where that talk group is. If that's in there, you're welcome to call us there. My recommendation would just be whatever agency you're with to NWS Cleveland, and somebody will pick the radio up and answer it. And then as an absolute last resort, if you are a Skywarn coordinator or an Aries person or a Skywarn net control, but you have to be one of those things, or public safety, there's a thing called NWS chat that the coordinators are allowed to use to pass their reports to the weather service in Cleveland. If anyone in here has that, I would like to request that if you know that the weather service is staffed with ham radio operators, and you'll know because I send an email out to the list of coordinators saying that there's people here. And if you are a Skywarn coordinator and you don't get any of those emails, or you don't know what I'm talking about, talk to me and I'll get you on that. Please don't use NWS chat when we have ham radio operators at the National Weather Service. You might say, why? It's so easy. And the response is real simple. And what the hell are we there for? If everybody's going to use their phone and everybody's going to use their computer, then there's no point in us being there. And I have fun being there, so I kind of like to continue to be there. So, you know, at the end of the day, though, I'm not your boss. Everybody's an adult, maybe. Most of us are adults, either by age or
Speak for yourself.
or either by age or or maturity. Do what you want. I don't care. But eventually, if everybody uses NWS chat, then we're not going to have a ham radio station at the weather service at all. So that's my request to you. Take it as you want. But to go back to the when we're there, when we're not there, generally when they call us is when there's going to be a widespread severe weather outbreak. And what is a widespread severe weather outbreak? It begins at the point that they decide that they need to issue a watch, either a severe thunderstorm watch or a tornado watch. If there's no watch issued or there's not going to be a watch issued, then probably we're not going to be there. If there is a watch issued, we still might not be there, but chances are getting better. And if you ever want to understand, well, how do I figure out if there's a watch, or how do I know if there's going to be a watch? I've, you know, There's this thing called a mesoscale discussion, and if you ever want to learn about all that stuff, I could do an entirely different presentation about watches and warnings and mesoscale discussions and radar and all that stuff. But I will just say, attend your local Skywarn spotter training and learn it direct from the Weather Service. But if you ever want that as a topic, let me know. So again, this is the Weather Service in Cleveland. There's 30 counties, 28 of them are in Ohio, 2 of them are in Northwest Pennsylvania. And every single one of those counties, the warnings are issued by the Cleveland Weather Office, which used to be at Cleveland Hopkins Airport, but is now a little bit east off of I-480 in a city called Brooklyn. And the weather radar is still at Cleveland Hopkins, though it's the big soccer ball on the tower. So we do have our own website for the Skywarn amateur radio operations. It kind of got broken up, but it's wx8cle.org. WX8CLE is the call sign that we use when we operate at the National Weather Service. So if you want to learn any more about that, reach out there. There is a map there, a link of every single county in this is called the CWA, and it has a list of all the Skywarn coordinators that I'm aware of. So if you are unsure who your Skywarn person is for your county, look at that and see if it's on there. If it's not on there, then I don't know who it is. So if you look at that list and you live in a county that's blank and you know that there's a Skywarn program and it's active and you know who runs it, shoot me an email and I'm happy to update it. And most of that is determined through the local emergency management agency. So reporting, I talked a little bit about how you can get a hold of NWS. For those of you that are familiar with the Skywarn program, like I said, 6 meters, we call it the 6 meter backbone, 5268. It has been down all year. They've been working on it and trying to get it back up and running. Long story short, somebody bought the tower and rather than just kick them out, said, well, we're not going to kick you out, but you guys need to compress this stuff into less cabinets. And so that's what they're doing. If anybody's familiar with repeaters and towers, the new tower owner is a company called American Tower. And if anybody is familiar with them, they have a history of not being welcoming to amateur radio operators. So the fact that they were willing to give them a lease, it's a super cheap, like single dollar, I think, a year, and tell them you got to go from 6 cabinets to 3. Given their past track record with dams was more than reasonable. And so we're hoping that those guys will get the repeater back up too. But we do have other ways to get to us. Again, DMR, we have multiple DMR repeaters up in Cleveland. 313932 is this DMR talk group. It is available. It should be available pretty much on any Brandmeister repeater. If your local repeater is on its own, what's called C-Bridge, its own network, reach out to your repeater owner and say, hey, I'd like this talk group on there so that we can pass weather stuff to Cleveland. Can you do that? And hopefully they'll say yes and get it added. And then while you're doing that, make sure that the Aries talk group 31395 is on there too, because one of the things that I'm not a big fan of is Aries taking over 3139, which is the state of Ohio talk group, which brings up every single repeater in the entire state. We have an Aries talk group, that's what we need to use. So, and then again, Marks. If you have Marks radio, bring it up. And then as a last resort, NWS chat. And if you don't know what NWS chat is, you've never heard of it, you're probably not eligible. Again, you have to be a Skywarn coordinator, a net control operator for an established Skywarn group, or work in public safety or with an EMA or something like that. So, general information for any Skywarn net is the criteria of what needs to be reported. This is going to be pretty consistent, but again, I'm from Cleveland, I run Cuyahoga County, so check with your local Skywarn coordinator to confirm what he does and doesn't want to hear. But generally speaking, these are the things that we want to hear about. Obviously, tornadoes. And does tornado have an E in it? I don't know. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Today it doesn't. I think everybody knows what a tornado is. It is a violently rotating column of air in contact with the ground. A funnel cloud is a violently rotating column of air that is not in contact with the ground. So the difference between a tornado and a funnel cloud, tornado touches the ground, funnel cloud doesn't. It doesn't mean that the cloud that you see has to touch the ground. It means the air has to touch the ground. So if your tornado looks like a little V up in the sky, and you're not sure is that a tornado or a funnel cloud, look at the ground. If you see a cloud of debris on the ground, it's a tornado. If you don't, it's a funnel cloud. Easiest way to think about it. Wall clouds, I'm not going to get real in depth into what these different types of clouds are. If you don't know, attend a Skywarn training, you'll learn all about these things, how they develop, where they develop, what they mean, what they look like. But if you know what a wall cloud is and you see it, that's something that needs to be reported. And the reason is because a lot of times when you have a wall cloud, you have a very strong updraft and you have the makings of a storm that could become tornadic. Hail, nickel size or larger. If the hail has just started and it is small, the Weather Service will say that they would like to hear about any hail that is happening, no matter what the size, even if it's just pea size. I say 1/2 inch or larger because I switched and I started saying any hail you can report. And then it would get to the point where we'd get like 30 reports of pea size hail. And like, I don't mean to be rude, but okay, we get it, there's hail. I think we got that covered. The reason that 1/2 inch or larger is important is because now you're starting to get up to the size where it could cause damage. And the criteria for issuing a severe thunderstorm warning is hail of 1 inch or larger. So we're starting to get up close, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, we're getting very close to the severe criteria. So that's why we say nickel size, 1/2 inch, quarter size, stuff like that. At the end of the day though, if you're listening to a Skywarn net and you have hail falling and it's a decent amount, it's small, but nobody's reported it, go ahead and report it. My guess would be most Skywarn operators would like to hear that, and the Weather Service would like to hear it. If you can, try and get a start and a stop time when you're reporting hail. The reason for that is because the forecasters can use that to establish how wide the area of hail is. And the reason that hail is so important, again, without getting too far into the weeds, is because the way hail forms is with an updraft. The rain goes up, it comes down, it goes up, it comes down. Every time it goes up, it freezes another layer of ice. The bigger the hail, the more times it's gone through that cycle, the stronger the updraft. The stronger the updraft, the stronger the storm. So that's why we need to know about hail. Winds, I say in excess of 50 miles per hour. The reason that we say 50 miles an hour is because criteria for a severe thunderstorm is 56 miles per hour, 58 miles per hour, somewhere around there. So you're getting close, okay? Flooding in progress. Now this isn't the bridge that every time it rains for 3 minutes floods. This is areas where you look and you go, I'm really familiar with this area, and the last time it flooded here was 31 years ago, and blah, 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 blah. Those are the kinds of floods that we want to hear about. Not the one that floods every single time it rains because the drain's clogged and the city doesn't want to come out and do it because they're cheap. Any storm damage? If you're going to report storm damage, just be detailed. Trees that have fallen, we need to know the size. Houses that are damaged, what type of house is it? What's damaged? Are the shingles ripped off? Are the windows busted? Things like that. If a structure is blown over, was it a garage? Was it a house? What was it made of? Trees, are the trees broken or are they uprooted? How big of the diameter are they? Where they broke? Things like that. And then any weather-related injuries, even if it's lightning. So normally the Weather Service doesn't care about lightning because by definition every thunderstorm has lightning and they don't issue warnings for it. However, most Skywarn nets will accept lightning reports simply because we all care about lightning because of those things called antennas that we have on our house, and it's kind of interesting to us. The Weather Service doesn't necessarily care unless somebody is injured by the lightning, or if like a house catches on fire or something like that. And then locations. So if you're up in an area like Cuyahoga County, a very urban area, they really just need to know the city. If you're out in a more rural area like this, you're gonna have to get creative with your locations. Try to use the largest road possible that's nearby you. And when I say that, like if you're near an interstate, start with the interstate and then exit number. If you're not, maybe a state road versus a county road or a township road, something that somebody who's never been here before can easily find on a map very quickly. It's important that you keep your locations vague enough to be found, but detailed enough to be meaningful. If you, Township Road 12 or something next to Kathy's barn, the weather service isn't gonna know what you're talking about, and it's not gonna be helpful, so. So that's kind of my crash course on Skywarn. We'll wrap it up with a little bit of Aries, but I'm not gonna go too far into the weeds, but this is a map of all the Aries districts in the state. So again, I'm from Cuyahoga County. I'm also the district emergency coordinator for District 10, which does include Medina County. So if you live in Medina County, you're part of my district, and if you are not, you're in District 5. And if you're in Summit County, you guys probably all know the young man over in the corner who's the Summit County EC. And if you don't know Ken, get to know him. He's a great guy. So, so a little bit, yeah, there I am throwing those insults around again, right? So, if anybody follows Aries, again, I became the section emergency coordinator in January. And if you're an Aries member or you're very involved in Aries, you might think, well, he's the new section emergency coordinator. He hasn't really done much. We used to hear all kinds of stuff from Stan Broadway, and we didn't hear quite as much from Brett, but we heard a lot, and we haven't really heard from him. And there's two reasons for that. One is, admittedly, I'm pretty busy. I have a lot of stuff going on, as you just saw, some of it that I talk about. In addition to that, I actually have a whole personal life too. I'm married, I have 3 kids, I have a full-time job. Although my youngest son is in the Navy, so I guess the kid excuse kind of doesn't really count anymore. But I am very busy, so admittedly I probably could do a little bit more. But my opinion of the Aries program is that it is a ground-up program. And what I mean by that is, if you've ever taken any sort of ICS courses or FEMA courses or anything like that, there's a phrase that you'll hear, and the phrase that you'll hear is incidents start local and they end local. So any type of emergency that you have, Ohio is what we call a home rule state. So that means that that county, that city, that village, whatever, is going to be responsible for it. And when an emergency happens, FEMA doesn't just run in and show up and say, oh, you had a tornado, here we are, what do we need to do? Same thing with the state. The state doesn't just run in and say, all right, we're here, everybody step out of the way, we got this. It starts local and it ends local. So what that means is, and Aries needs to follow the way emergency management works. So you have a disaster in your community. The first people that are going to respond are your local police and fire. Your mayor might get involved. If it is too big and they can't handle it, they'll escalate it to the county level. The county will get involved. If the county doesn't have the resources to meet that emergency's needs, they'll escalate it to the state level. If the state runs out of resources and they need additional help, they'll escalate it to the federal level. So all of those things happen, they expand. So if you've ever taken an ICS course, they talk about the span of control, and the span of control expands and it contracts based on the size of your incident. So in my opinion, Aries needs to run the same way. So Aries is structured in such a way that every county, theoretically, we don't have all of the roles filled, but theoretically every county has an emergency coordinator, and that emergency coordinator is partnered with that county's EMA and as many local jurisdictions as they're able to get a good relationship with. In my example, we had a really good relationship in Cleveland, the city of Cleveland. So that emergency coordinator partners with that agency. That agency tells them what they need. You're the served agency. So as the Aries coordinator, I don't show up to the EMA and say, here's all the things that I'm going to do for you. I show up and I say, here's all the things that I know how to do. Which ones of these are important to you? And what do you want me to be able to do that I currently don't know how to do? If you as an emergency coordinator don't have that relationship with your EMA, or if you've got somebody like me at the state level saying, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, you're not going to meet the needs of your served agency. And if you're not going to meet the needs of your served agency, then you're just another group of volunteers that they don't want to have anything to do with. Because all these guys, they show up with their antennas and their flashing lights on their cars and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. So I'm not going to deal with them. Now, I made that comment. I have multiple antennas on my vehicle and flashing lights. So if you're gonna be a whacker, embrace it. It's okay. But that's my mentality. My mentality is that it needs to start at the county. So as a county EC, my job as the section emergency coordinator or as a district emergency coordinator is to come to you and say, okay, you're the EC of the county. What has your served agency asked you to do? And what do you need me to do to help you be successful? If your answer is nothing, I got it. We got a great relationship and we're doing, then I only care about one thing. Great. Whatever you do, submit a report, write up the hours, kick it to me at the end of the month, and we're done. So that is my philosophy. That is why if you're involved in areas, you probably haven't heard a lot from me. And that's just because if the counties aren't asking me for help, then I'm going to assume that they've got it under control and that the needs are being met. So with that said, if you live in a county that has an Aries program and you think that it's not meeting the needs of your served agency, the first thing I would encourage you to do is get involved and help out. Go to the meetings, join the group, and figure out what's going on. Because from the outside, you might actually not know what's going on. And maybe they have a better program going on than you think, because you're not involved. So the one thing that I like to challenge people to is, it's really easy for us all to complain, oh, they don't know what they're doing, they're not getting the job done. Okay, well, what have you done to try and help make it better? We're all volunteers, none of us are getting paid. Maybe that person doesn't see things the same way as you, and your perspective would help them out. Go to the meetings, get involved, be vocal. At the end of the day, if you start seeing, yeah, things really aren't happening, I've tried my best, well, then you can start escalating it. Talk to the DEC in the area, talk to me if you need to, and we'll get involved and see what we need to do. But so that's why I really haven't done a lot. The first thing I did was clean up the roster. We had a bunch of people that were never even officially appointed, so I got those run through. I created an email list for all of the ECs and DECs and assistant ECs so that they could be kept in the loop on what was going on at the state level. I hold quarterly meetings with all of those people, and then I expect those people to push the information out to their local groups. So if you're in an Aries group and you're not hearing any of that information, talk to your EC and say, hey, I heard that there's this quarterly meeting. I've never heard what happens at it. Can you fill me in? And challenge them to make sure that this information is getting disseminated. That's the comment about one size does not fit all. What I do in Cuyahoga County isn't necessarily the right way. There's, as they say, a lot of ways to skin a cat. So I know what works in my county. I know what works for my agencies, but that's not necessarily what's going to work for everybody else. So that's really all I have to talk about. I hope that it gives you guys at least a little bit of enlightenment on who I am, what I do. If anybody's interested in any of this stuff that I talked about and you want to come up to Cleveland, let me know. I will caution you, if you've never worked a marathon or a bike ride, they all start stupid early. So you're gonna have to get up really early and you're gonna have to drive your bike. If you don't want to, I don't know, maybe Akron's closer, you can go help Ken with the Akron Marathon.
At 6 a.m.
6 a.m. See, there you go. First runners leave at 6. There you go. I just did a triathlon. First swimmers were in the water. 6:23 a.m. Pan, Ohio. Thursday we left at 7:30 because we didn't want to get caught in some traffic downtown. But every other day after that, 5:30 in the morning, the first cyclists left the hotel. And guess who has to be there all day? The guy that's in charge. 5:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. usually. So they're very long days, but it's very rewarding. And I don't know, there's not too many other opportunities that you can go home and go to sleep and say, well, I just helped raise over $1 million for cancer research. So it's worth it. But if anybody's interested in any of that kind of stuff, reach out to me. My group has a Facebook page and an Instagram page. We've got pictures of a lot of the different types of things that we do. My email, my first initial last name at NADSG. If you don't want to remember all that, you could actually just type my name, Matt, M-A-T, 1T, at nadsg.org, and it'll forward over to me, and then I can respond to you. It's real easy to remember. That's about the shortest email that I have. I would encourage you though to go check out our website, see all the things that we do, learn more about our organization. If there's anything that you're interested in or any questions that you have about any of it, feel free to let me know. But thank you for having me down here. I hope that I kept it brief enough to not feel like you wasted your time, but not so long that you're like, all right, shut up, we gotta talk about our meeting now. So, with that though, any questions, any comments or anything that I can answer for anybody? Skywarn, Aries, or public service related, or anything else. I'll make up anything. So, all right, well, thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Very much. Good night. Sure we don't have any questions, folks?
I'll stick around for a little while.
All right. Thank you very much. Fine business. All right, I think it's time for a break. See if I can get the clock working tonight. There we go. All right. Take a break, everybody. Come back in a few minutes. We'll get the business meeting started, and thank you very much. Matt. Dave's not here tonight, but I pegged this as Dave's dad. Does anybody else see that resemblance?
Very successful. 100%. Yeah, I've known Joe for years.
You like how the timer started over again? Yeah, we'll tweak that next month. All right, let's settle down, please.
Let's get 3 now. Yeah, take care.
Yes, sir. How you doing? Staying out of trouble? I heard about that. All right, guys, it's time for the committee reports tonight. I looked for a nice committee kind of looking photo from the weekend. You guys look like a committee there.
There's that homeless guy.
You noticed that too? He's in a couple of pictures again. I was gonna make a joke about it. I'm glad you did it instead of me. He is in a few pictures again. But let's start with, it was a dark and stormy night. K4OG, Mark has been doing an excellent job with the minutes. If you're not at the meeting, reading the minutes is better than being here, I think. And, you know, sometimes if I had the choice, I would just go for the meeting notes, you know? But it's great to see all of you. And as I've said before, his minutes are so good they should be called seconds. However, Mark, come on up.
I'm in trouble?
No, you're not in trouble. But Mark's tenure with us is ending sooner than we anticipated.
He's moving.
I'm sorry to say. Tell us about it, Mark.
Oh, man, I'm Mike Shy. I want to say Sarah, and that's the general term, but I would like to know each and every one of you, because I look at you so many times, me and Mike on the roster. And when I see you on the roster, I think back all the good times we've had together.
T-shirts.
So, yeah. And so I want to tell you, it's been my pleasure to write the minutes for the crew. And I've really enjoyed it. It was my goal to get it more readable. And it whets the appetite if you read it. You may want to watch Scott's video. It's awesome, you know. And we got a tool now that we can see how many people click on it. I don't know if somebody's just clicking away, but my minutes have been going up, so that was a goal. Thank you for letting that happen. It's time for me to go back to Portland. I'm going to retire and be with my wife permanently. She needs me. And
Bring her to Ohio.
yeah, I will try to get her up here. So I'm going to go home tomorrow and get my new life started with retirement. You know, set everything up and come back up here. And I got a month to move everything out of the apartment. I'll be in touch with a few of you, and if I got anything to give away, I'll be sure to reach out to you. Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure.
God bless you, Mr.
Okay. I just thought I'd ask. All right, just, no, you're not gonna go home without all of us getting together and saying goodbye.
The wife wants to still come up and see everybody, or as many as she can. So there's that.
There's a picnic in September.
Yeah.
That's what I was just whispering about, but then maybe.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Mark, thank you very much, Mark.
You're welcome. No, thank you guys.
Good job, Mark. Treasurer's report.
Okay.
Let us know where we are, Mike. Watch that speaker up there.
Speaker there. Okay,
It really has not changed a whole lot. We started out with 4,000, we had 4,993 cents. Main things we had last month, we had $100 for our lease of the tower. We had $300 donation to St. Edward's, a deposit of 156. And we had Amazon Web Services for $94.67. And we had the monthly rent for our storage unit, which was $33.49. Now, what we're doing is, as far as the lease on our tower, instead of paying every single month, we pay it on a quarterly. So I also sent another $300 for the lease. We had our Starlink subscription and our Starlink usage. So we spent quite a bit this last month, but it's just kind of how it goes. And I just paid $200 for the club's insurance. So, we want this to be a premier club. Unfortunately, to be a premier club, we're going to have to spend money. It's just as simple as that. So we have $4,185.38. We always keep an allocation of $1,100 in case our repeater gets hit. We have to fix it. So we have an available balance of $3,085.38. Okay. Oh, there's one other important thing. There's an item which is not on here, but it's my fee for every single month. Now, honestly, and also we have $152 to change in our PayPal account. I always keep 30 on hand. So, okay.
All right, you guys gotta remind me, which ones of these do we have to, okay with first and second motions? Anybody? Minutes? Okay, I missed the minutes. Anybody? Minutes?
I motion to approve.
Thank you. Second, Steven back there. Thank you. All right, treasurer's report. Thank you, Mike. We're in good shape, but we're spending money quickly. We did use the Starlink. How did Starlink work?
Oh, it was fun. No problem.
Yeah.
Everything's so nice. You just plug that sucker in and everything, yeah, it was great. Especially for running the border breaker net. That logger worked beautiful. So did my logger, so thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. That was fun, actually. And be sure to tell everybody about New Zealand.
Oh,
Okay. Oh, very good. Member support, where's Ron? Ron. There you are. Come on up here, because you gotta tell us about some stuff. You told me you put up a mesh core, thing. Yes. Tell us about mesh core thing.
Mesh core thing. Well, Doug decided he was gonna put a mesh core network together, and he asked me to put some up on my tower. So we got it up there, and he says it's working pretty well. Helped John get his antenna up. Hopefully that's working like it should be. A buddy of mine in Warville, W8FDX, we did some tower work at his place, and I guess we're gonna help Jeff pull up his tower tomorrow. So we've been kind of busy lately. I even got some stuff done on my tower this week.
So retirement's nice?
Well, it gives me more time to do some of this stuff.
Oh.
If I can get away from home for long enough.
Very good, Ron. Thank you, sir. I thought the lighthouse tower was kind of cool for the tower. That's what I was thinking there, so y'all know. All right, Learning and BE Committee. Doug, do you have anything to add up here?
No, in the interest of people's time, I do not. I don't know if Steph might want to make a comment about the most recent session.
Stefan? Well, I do have an audio clip at the end of this one that I'd like all of you to hear.
Okay. Our most recent session, which was the first Saturday of this month, August, we had a great session. Not a lot of people.
Not a lot of people, but we did have, and in my opinion, it was my first time. We had our first 7-year-old that was licensed for amateur radio. He was 7 years old. And that was fantastic. And his father brought him down. And his father called me on the phone and said, "Oh, he's all excited. He's all excited." And I said, "Well, that's great." You know. And he came down and did the test, and then he passed. And you should have saw. I kid you not. Doug was at the side door, and you could probably see it. This kid must have jumped up 16 times. Gave his dad a high five, and I said, "Well, that's awesome." I said, "Now get on the radio." And then I told his dad, "Well, you know what? You're gonna have to get a second radio now." Just like I told Mary Ann's husband Harry, that guy over there, when she got her license. But thanks, guys. And our next session is the first Saturday in October. As a matter of fact, the K3LR Day is our test session.
I noticed that.
That's what I was gonna talk to you
Sorry.
We do so
Sorry.
much stuff.
Yeah, we do so much stuff, they double up. But October 3rd is the next session. And speaking of Drew, KF8HCP, I have Scott back there is going to play for us. He checked into the barometer net that morning. Wednesday morning, I think it was last week.
We get a little extra.
Kilo 5 8 Hotel Charlie Papa
QSL.
And just got my license grant today, so I'm not in Georgia yet, but going to try a good great day, WC fast, and that.
That was a great test.
So KF8HCP.
Hey, yeah, sorry, Fred, I lost T-Mobile, so I had to pull into the parking lot, but, hey, this is Andy, KTA Live, but my 7-year-old just got his license grant, at midnight, so, I wanted to make sure that he got in on the net.
Cool.
Hey, that's great news. Congratulations to your, child there at 7 years old. KF8HCP, could I have your name, please?
True Delta Romeo Echo Whiskey Call Sign Kilo 5 8 Hotel Charlie Papa.
Well, Drew, let me tell you, it's great to have you in on the set this morning, and you can be proud. Drew, you can come back and check in with us anytime you want to. I'm sure your dad told you that we're here Monday through Saturday, starting at 7 o'clock and going to whatever. So, feel welcome to drop back in and spend some time with us whenever you can. Congratulations on getting licensed. And KC8YFL, Andy, did you have anything else to add? Hey, no, thank you so much, Fred. Yeah, it's been exciting. Yeah, we got names done at the last year.
So there you go. The future of ham radio, if everyone could check in like that, right, Fred?
Stefan, you need some practice.
If only. Yes.
So I have a continuation on that. So a couple days later, they went to Puerto Rico, I assume on vacation. So they were calling on 20 meters and spotted themselves in the Sarah Discord. So I jumped over there and got to have a QSO with Drew from Ohio, and he was calling CQ like a pro. It was awesome. He's gonna be a contest. It's
Awesome.
It's gonna be awesome.
That's excellent.
It was really cool.
All right. That is that just has to make you smile.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you, Doug. Thank you, Stefan. Thank you, Learning and BE Committee. That's the future. Doesn't happen without all y'all. Thank you. And Jason, thanks for cutting that out for me. All right, social committee, where are you, Doug? The other Doug, as I say sometimes. Have at it there, buddy. Thank you, sir.
Any of you who did get cookies, we have some up in the table there. Laura made some homemade ones. Thank you, Laura, for making those. And at the QSO party on Saturday, we're gonna have hot dogs, hamburgers, chips, and pop. And I want to thank everyone for buying the 50/50 tickets tonight. We got $202 total, so the winner's gonna get $101. And we're gonna draw 2 tickets. One's gonna be for the ARRL manual, and the other will be for the $101. And we're gonna eat probably around 4 or 5 on Saturday. And, hope to see you all there.
All right. And don't forget, 13th next month, picnic potluck. Bring something. Bring something. Like I said, some of the other clubs are having it all split up. If you're this, that, and the other thing, just bring something. We'll have fun. It's all good. And some pictures from the weekend. Doug, I'm short on pictures of you. I'm gonna have to get some more pictures of you. I had to use that one over again, but I think I had some nice social stuff going on there from the Lighthouse weekend. Josh, busy cooking. Very good, Doug. Thank you. Hello. Tech committee. Jason, come on up. Say something. Yes, I like the lighthouse pictures, and that's you fixing the lighthouse.
No, did you still untangling cables that I had just put away?
Yes, from field day. You're still untangling them, aren't you?
Did you put the Starlink away correctly? All right.
If you don't know, you should explain the direction.
Yeah, so for you, if you weren't here last month, the directions, the very last directions for putting the Starlink away says, do not put this away as if put away by savages. So, a couple things, fall build project, I'm working on dates, because as you've seen from Nick's list of things we're doing a lot of things and we're running out of year. Especially running out of year for doing build projects if we don't do them in Gary's garage. So the fall build project might become the winter build project. We'll see. I thought Gary was gonna be here tonight. I gotta talk to him about, doing his, using his garage. Fox Hunt, October 10th, gonna be starting 10 a.m. at the Bueller's parking lot like we normally do. I am not going to broadcast from Firestone Park this time. That apparently drove everybody to madness for 3 hours. I'm not gonna do that. This will be a closer Fox Hunt. So put that on your calendar for October 10th. And with Mark's retirement, that committee might need to start talking about expanding the W8 WKY repeater system to Kentucky.
Yeah.
So, I remember talking to Mark a while back, and there was a dearth of repeaters around you, if I remember correctly. At least ones on All-Star, so the Empire might need to expand down to the Kentucky division, so we'll see. That's it. The fall build project is gonna be the off-center fed dipole. That was the clear winner. I put the poll out, got a lot of good participation. I appreciate everybody taking a vote. Also put in there about what costs people are willing to spend on the build project. That actually came in at the $100 to $150 range as the most popular choice, which is great because if you priced copper wire recently about how expensive copper wire is, I was putting together the bill of materials for the off-center fed dipole and thought I had typoed the price of the 132 feet of wire required, and then realized I hadn't. And I was like, oh, so the off-center fed dipole build project is gonna be $32 more expensive than when we built it 3 years ago, exclusively due to the cost of copper. And I have looked for alternatives to the copper clad steel that we use for those, for the nice and strong. That's still the cheapest one out there from Wireman. The cost is just so the bill's gonna be, I think, is $138. once I get the date, because I don't want to put it out there and then be like, well, we'll schedule it at some point, and then half the people can't make that date. Once we get a date worked out, that'll be out for sign. So, anything else? Thank you, Mike. Oh, Ham Radio Workbench podcast, yeah. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Craig. So a couple of you know, there's Ham Radio Workbench podcast is a technical makers podcast. It's really good. I think it's really good, not just because they had me on. They have they're up to episode 200, and I think mine was 270 or 271, I think is what it was. Every episode is 2 to 3 hours long. Which is 1.5 mowings of my field, which actually the podcast does in fact clock itself on mowing as mow time, as a listen time. So if you want to hear about All Star, I was on the one that just dropped last week, but there's tons of absolutely great episodes on all kind of topics. If you like technology and amateur radio, it's a great podcast. So
What's it called again?
Ham Radio Workbench podcast. So, yeah, but thanks. All right.
Nobody should complain about the cost to build, because Comex copper, it's $6.31 a pound. Plus you gotta figure how they're gonna,
It's crazy how expensive wire is now. Even the one at Lowe's in Wadsworth now has it all locked up behind the cage. I'm like, what kind of crime is going on in the Wadsworth Lowe's?
Why are you
Jason,
charging so much?
I was reading about full duplex nodes and going down through Google and ended up on the community somewhere, the All-Star community. Read a great paragraph about it, looked up to see who wrote it. Well, it was you. It was you. Thank you, once again.
You're welcome.
Yes. Thanks, Jason. All right, operations committee. Josh, get up here. The Just Hope version of Nick. Just so y'all know, I took that photo. That was the first photo that we started with tonight. But since Josh used it in his, and it was Josh's creation, I used the original instead. So this is the transformation to the Just Hope Nick. Take it away, man.
There's a little bit of a story. So can I share a little bit from the XCOM meeting?
Oh, please
About
share.
your question? Okay.
Yes, share.
So Nick in the XCOM meeting, he was asking, so I haven't gotten much feedback on my reign as president. So was basically asking for feedback. And for some reason, my mind went to an image immediately when he said that. And I thought in that moment, I was like, man, I really wish I was an artist so I could draw this. This would be awesome. This would be a great poster for the club. So I went to AI and was like, here's my idea. Here's some inspiration. And that is what was in my brain. And it did a great job of pumping that out. I thought that was beautiful. So anyways, that's my short story. All right. Lighthouse and Lightship weekend last weekend. That was great. Who all attended? Who all was there? There was a good number.
Now you've done it.
It's all over. Anyways, yeah, there was a good number of people. We had over 30 people just sign in. So there were I'm sure there were more than 40 visitors here today. It was great. So that's the QSL card. I have some back there on the bar. If you want to grab one as a memento. We got some press. It was pretty good. They posted the Fairport Harbor Maritime Museum Lighthouse. They posted on their Facebook page in advance about the activation. And then while we were out there, they actually had their photographers out there taking pictures of us and everything. It was really cool. And they got it in the newspaper I think it was the Friday beforehand. So that was really neat. So I've got a hard copy of that Marty, the president of the Lighthouse, gave us. It's really cool. So beautiful sunrise. We got there, and this is just a great location. I can't imagine that there's many locations where you actually have two lighthouses right within your vision. It's really neat. So that is the original lighthouse that's on the Grand River. This is the museum lighthouse where we were set up. And out there on the break wall, You look out over the lake and you can see that is the West Breakwater Lake that was built in the 20s. This one was built in the 1820s, and that was built in the 1920s. So, really, really cool. Actually, fun tidbit, Dave, NT8D, operated from inside that lighthouse when they were renovating it years ago. So that was really neat. So there you can see kind of the outside, built in 1825, rebuilt in 1871. Thank you, Scott. And the spiral staircase going up to the top, and the tiny little door that's about this big. It's about Betty size, so you can get down to get out, and it's got a great view out there. So this, I believe, is a view of us.
Already.
Awesome. Dave's up there, dropping the rope down to Wayne and Mary. So we use that to pull the antenna up, and this is the end-fed. Thankfully, Dave knows how to tie knots, because I don't, so he did a nice job right there. And we had the end-fed go down. And you can see these were a couple of the stations. We had lane, I'm afraid to press the buttons, I don't know which one's the pointer. But we had lanes, the middle one. Oh, no. Okay. All right. We have lanes 705 over there. He tried to run 250 watts. Harry's 991A did not like that, so we toned it back down to 100 watts. So that's okay. So 40 meters for lane. Harry was on 20 meters. And then you can see this was the main operating tent was the one in black. The white one over here is where we were cooking the food. We had a 2-meter antenna set up right here so that we could run the border breaker net. Brandon brought a Delta loop and set out up there at the top. Scott, you're great at this, thank you. Yeah. And obviously the end-fed, so. The middle, the big middle, thank you.
It's like a marijuana leaf.
There we go. So here's a view from inside, and I believe Brian, KE8NNC, you're here tonight, right? Raise your hand. One of our newest members of the club. I think you joined right on the spot while you're out there. So thank you for that. That was awesome. Welcome to the club. We're glad to have you. Who's the name of the gentleman that you were with? The standing next door here over here. Do you remember?
Oh, Mark.
Mark. Okay, he's also a ham operator. Yes. So. That was excellent. Oh, and this over here, I had my 705 set up to run the border breaker net, and Zach brought out his 6100, ran on the Delta loop, running 20 meters digital. Food, Mark brought out some satellite stuff, so that was really, really cool. We had a space station pass that went right in front of us, right to the north, which was really cool. Was that the first time? That's not the first time you used those handhelds, was it? The duplex handhelds?
Yeah.
Oh, it was? Oh, nice. Did they work pretty okay, or
You know, they work good. Just one has one problem, the other one has another. They're used, so I hadn't tested them, but
okay.
We could hear them. I just didn't have. Someone said I was too polite.
You didn't step on enough people trying to get it. I got you.
I can help you with that.
Let's see. Marianne was operating over there. You could see, and there's the balun for the end-fed. That got really warm actually. I touched that and I was like, ooh, that's a little toasty. So you can see we ran the end-fed into the triplexers. So we're using one antenna for 40 and 20. That worked really, really well. And some more pictures of us operating over there. So this is another view of the setup. Man, Zach, you have such a professional, Zach came in and was just an absolute professional. He brought in the 10x12 or the 10x20 pop-up. I had all these cones, and at the very end, Will was walking around helping Brandon clean up all the cones. It was awesome. So thank you. Let's see, that is Marty. Marty is the president of the nonprofit that helps run the Lighthouse Museum, and we promised her that she would get on the air. And so she was able to do that, which was really cool. She made a contact. Yeah, Michigan. Nice, very good. Was it fun? Did she like it? What did she think? She thought it was cool.
I think she wanted to get a White House.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
but she enjoyed it.
Good.
I want a pony.
This picture is me taking a picture of Mark, taking a picture of me. Wow. What is this? Oh, satellite pass.
Matter of fact, you put her baby picture
So that was fun. This was Will helping Brandon clean up. This was Brandon teaching Betty how to roll down a hill. This was Betty and Will watching Brandon roll down a hill.
Betty could stop, Will just.
Yeah. He doesn't know how to put the brakes on just yet. All right, so event totals, contacts. So on 40 meters, we had 17 FT8 digital contacts, 90 on phones for 107 contacts for the special events. 20 meters, we had 23 on data, we had 6 on phone, and so that's a total of 29. Border breaker net, I was trying to beat Lane on 40 meters. I did not come close. Whoops. But it was still awesome. It was really fun. For a grand total of 165 contacts. We had over 31 visitors that had signed in, and at least one lighthouse. There was Lane.
Yeah, there was 4.
There were 4 lighthouses? Excellent, because I briefly looked through the contacts and I only saw the one, so thank you. So 4, that's great. And then also on the border breaker net, there was a station who checked in, and I'll have to remember his call sign. It's on my phone. Let's pull up his call sign. But he was based out of South Africa, which was really cool. His name was Daniel. Zulu Sierra 5 Delta Golf. And so from South Africa, he had just gotten back from putting his own lighthouse on the air. And so I got his club call sign. And so technically he wasn't at the lighthouse, but I'll call that number 5. That was pretty cool. So that was a neat contact. This is one of the lighthouses that we contacted, Whiskey 2 Golf from New York. So just wanted to say thank you to everybody who made that event possible. Lane for bringing gear, Harry for bringing gear, and talking with Marty and helping plan and coordinate with the lighthouse. Just everybody else who brought, Zach brought gear. Like I can't mention everybody. I mean, it was wonderful. I had a really great time. It was Dave's idea. We've been talking about doing this for 2 years. So I'm really glad we were finally able to make it happen, and glad it worked out. So
she would like us to come back.
that is the thing. We left a very positive impression, and she was very adamant about saying, like, you're welcome to come back. So there's a card on the back on the bar over there if you all would like to sign it as a thank you, and we'll get that sent off to her as a thank you for letting us be at the lighthouse. So there you go. Upcoming events, I'm almost done here. CUSA party this weekend, and then the last operating event for the year, well actually it's next year's Winter Field Day. So we've got a busy calendar, but last going out to the field operating event is CUSA party this week. So that's exciting. Winter Field Day with Canton Club. We're looking for a location somewhere between Doylestown and Canton. So if you have any ideas, please let me know. We need to get that booked pretty soon here. CUSA party this weekend. Contest starts at noon. Dinner around 4 or 5, like Doug was saying. Wrap up around dusk. It technically runs till midnight, but the park closes at dusk. We're going to be at Big Oak Shelter at Portage Lakes. Runs concurrently with Hawaii CUSA party. They start at the exact same time that we do. So if you're looking for Hawaii in the logs, now might be the right time for that. This is where we're going to be at over here off of 93. This is a different pavilion than we're used to. We're normally, so far we've been over here at the Walker Pavilion, so just a slightly different location. So Blaine and I ran out there this week. We threw up some antennas to tested out the setup, and it's working well. I know the weather is kind of iffy, but we're just gonna go with it, play it by ear, and see how it goes. So this is the area. This is the pavilion. If you've never been out there, we threw an antenna up in this tree, and then way off at the other side, we put up the club's 80-meter end fed. And it should be a really good time. So with that, any questions? All right, talk to that. Enough.
Thank you, Josh. Fine business. It is so wonderful that these events can go off and I don't have to attend, and they go off swimmingly. I got halfway up there, picked up that stationary bike, and yeah, I wasn't gonna make it the rest of the way, so thank you for taking care of business. All right, this is a marker for me. I just threw it in there. Got one last slide here. Gary and I kind of split this one, and he's not here. But just want to take a moment and keep in memoriam, if you will, 88 ZXD Bob Shepard, A8 AGW Dan Cushion. Couple of silent keys from last month or so. And they will be missed. I didn't know Bob all that well, but I got to know Pops really well for the first couple of years. On the barometer net, I thought his name was Pops. I didn't know that there was a real name there. I took this photo last year, 2024, actually, Nor's, one of their ham fests. And Pops is a nice guy, gonna miss him. And I guess what I'd say about Pops is he doesn't have to worry about being in a collision anymore.
No.
So,
He had a great way of saying his call sign too, because he spouted AGW.
see, I almost never heard his call sign. I only ever heard the in the collision part.
Yeah.
But that's how I got to identify him. So, whatever it takes, you know? Yeah, they'll be missed, and we did do Gary did silent key ceremony on the barometer net one morning, the last call, and we did it on the beacon net as well. I even confused them. So they'll be missed.
Both those fellows were damn good gentlemen.
Yes.
Really, really wonderful fellows. And Pops, his name really is his name. It's Robert.
Right, he used his middle name.
He goes there.
He goes by Pops. All right, questions, comments, concerns, we'll go around the room real quick, then we'll give out some prizes. Sir,
I have a comment, real quick.
please.
I would just like everyone to bear in mind, since we had the Aries presentation tonight, that we are going to have the Akron Marathon coming up next month. It's going to be the last Saturday of the month. It is early, it starts about 6 a.m. I have to be there at 3 to set up, and I don't get out of there until about 1:30, so it's a long day for me too. If you're interested in helping Aries with the event, I believe it's the 26th, I think, of September. 26th, yes. I'm being told that is correct. I'm getting old and the memory isn't what it used to be. But anyway, if you're interested in helping us on the 26th of September for the Akron Marathon, you can register for the marathon on the Aries site. It's summitares.org. The marathon also requests that you sign up on their race roster site. And the race roster site, the link for that is on our front page on our website. So if you go to our website, you'll get all the information on how to sign up on the race roster site for the marathon, and you'll get the link on our site to sign up on our site for it. So anyone that can help us out next month, just like Matt said, we need about 40 people to really cover the marathon. So we can use all the help we can get. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Where did you say the signups are?
On this, well, our signups are on summitares.org.
Okay.
If you go to our homepage, there's a link that'll take you right to our sign-up sheet. But you have to sign up with the marathon folks too on their race roster sites.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Anybody else?
What time is it?
1 o'clock. 1 to 5. And we'll figure out when to eat when we get there. We don't make plans like that far ahead, do we, Doug? Okay. When I get hungry, we'll eat. All right, let's do a 50-50 raffle. We got 2 things tonight, right? We've got the half in the cash, and we've got a wonderful handbook, compliments of Scott Yonley. Where are you, Scott? Still there? There you are. Hi, Scott. Thank you very much.
This will be for the ARL handbook.
25232 917.
917, there we go. Congratulations, sir.
Want a cookie?
And you can have a cookie. Well, you gotta love it when a guest wins. Congratulations, sir. Thank you for coming tonight.
This is for the $101.
Eight one five.
Oh, that's early.
815. 815. Never trust you.
Guess who's buying lunch tomorrow?
That's right. All right, thank you. Oh, yeah, have to have a cookie too. Look at that.
And a cookie. Money and a cookie. Everybody wins here. Thanks, Doug. Congratulations, everybody. All right, our next membership meeting will be September 17th. Plan to attend and bring a friend. I'm quoting Gary there. And, golly, that's the end. Anybody, anything? We ready to go? What's that?
I was gonna say motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn? There's one. What? What's up, Tom? Sorry. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot.
Well, let's remember November 1st, 2026 is the Massillon Ham Fest at the Max Museum this year. I have got extra prize tickets here if you're interested. They're cheaper than last year, put it that way. $5 for $6, then it adds every, excuse me, 6 for $5. Oh, my goodness, but then it goes in multiples of $5 and 6 all the way up to $100. So if you're interested, I've got tickets here, extra prize tickets. Hopefully, maybe next month when I come up, if I come up, I will have an attendance for admission tickets. And those will be $5 for admission until I believe October 1st. And then they go up to $8. So hopefully I'll have some with me next month. If you want them, I've got them.
Thank you, sir. I love the match. They are fabulous. Thank you, Tom. We will talk to you in the morning. All right, if we don't have anything else, next month, I'll see you back here and I'll see you on the radio, I imagine. Some of you, anyway. We're out of here. Everyone have a great night. Thank you all for coming.
I intentionally put it on backwards so I could track the this side. I was waiting on it to clear that seam on the line. I found out if I cut it down now, if people aren't caught up, it just ends it. There it is.